The views and opinions expressed on Real Talk with Horace Sheffield are not those of WADL TV 38 or Adele Broadcasting Corporation.
Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Real issues straight from the heart, Giving you real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Real talk, real talk, real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit, This is real talk, real talk, real talk. Real issues straight from the heart, Giving you.
Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm Reverend Horace Sheffield III. Of course, this is DiAnna Solomon, the real reason for our ratings increasing and for us now being seen in the Nielsen odometer, whatever they want to call that thing. We're glad about that. Steve Hood, eat your heart out. At any rate, we're having a great show here today. Wonderful things not only happening in the city of Detroit, but there's great things happening in the city that's within the city.
Absolutely.
Of course, that's Highland Park. We have Miss LaSchell Steward here from Premier Realty doing some fabulous things with new houses there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Reverend.
Now, I know that Miss Solomon's had an opportunity to review all of this and have some conversation with you, so I'm going to have her start off our show.
Okay.
Well, welcome again, Ms.
Thank you.
Stewart.
Thank you.
I was very excited when I heard about the news in Highland Park. I've worked in Highland Park. I've volunteered in Highland Park. I know the neighborhoods very well.
Yes.
And when I'd say roughly about 2 years ago, maybe it's been about a year and a half ago, when I heard that the NSP funds, for short, were coming to the city of Highland Park. Tell us what the acronym stands for, NSP.
NSP is the Neighborhood Stabilization Program.
Okay.
Okay.
And would you say that most laymen, like ourselves,
yes,
know that as Obama funds?
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
it is Obama funds. It was actually signed in under the Jennifer Granholm in her, yes,
Okay.
yes, under her
Okay.
administration.
So I heard that Highland Park was getting a few $1 million
Yes.
to not only renovate, but to tear down some abandoned structures that were not only eyesores, but created safety hazards in those neighborhoods. And that the funds were helping to rebuild actual new development.
Absolutely.
And so tell us how you're a part of those wonderful changes and enhancements.
Absolutely, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Actually, I was contracted through Shelbourne Development for this program in Highland Park, which is NSP. And this program is basically, it's a great program. What it does, not only does it empower neighborhoods, but it's there to promote and stabilize communities. And the most important part is there to help those families who were hardest hit in the economic crisis because of the foreclosure downturn.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I've even heard that some of the funds are even being used not only just for home ownership, but for renters as well. Because when there's a building, there's a facility that, let's say it's a rental unit that houses 10, maybe 15 units that's had quite a bit of decay. The owner isn't able to actually manage the repairs on their own, that these funds are also coming in to help provide support and finances so that those structures can also be just uplifted.
Absolutely.
So.
Leasing is a part of the program. However, home ownership is what we push for.
Okay,
We really
absolutely.
play up on the home ownership. But yes, you are absolutely right. Those landlords do have some portion of funding available through the NSP program for leasing opportunities as well.
Okay. Well, I know that based on your website and the information that you've shared prior to this show, that Premier Realty
Yes.
is providing these incredible, they're not really first-time home buyer homes. I mean, they're really almost a step up.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, 3 4-bedroom homes that are almost 2,000 square feet Tell us about that and where these homes are going to be located in the city of Highland Park and how accessible it is to everyday folk.
Yes, absolutely. These homes will be in specific areas designated in Highland Park. Woodward,
Can you give us some streets?
Yep, absolutely.
Highland Park is small.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's Woodward to Hamilton, and then Louise to Midland. And then they're also going to be focusing mainly also around the Ford Elementary School for safety purposes. You know, diminishing all of that blight and some things like that. So those are the focal points where they're
how
going
much
to
do
be
these homes
served.
cost?
These homes, on average, they will go by the appraised value, which would then come in anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 range.
And I'm just trying to help people get a handle on this, because one of the issues we still have in Detroit, and if I was to run for public office, would be to make the city competitive.
Right.
When I have a choice between living here and there, and I pay half here what I would pay there, I'm going to live there, especially if it's attractive and safe. So now Highland Park has these homes. What are the taxation values? I mean, are they competitive? I know they're different from the city of Detroit.
Yeah, they're absolutely different from the city of Detroit. But these homes, Reverend, are going to be absolutely gorgeous. These are top-of-the-line homes, energy efficient, which we all know definitely leads to less foreclosure and delinquencies. These homes are 1,600 to 2,000 square feet. They're 3 to 4 bedrooms. They're 1.5 to 2 baths. Okay, they're handicap accessible for those who need those type of.
Have they been built already?
They're in the building stages.
Okay. How soon will you have a model of?
The first model should be up within the next month and a half to no longer than 2 months. Somewhere around.
And your
there.
company represents this project, so people who are interested in seeing these properties can contact you.
Absolutely. Anyone who is interested in buying one of these properties, absolutely. They can log on to our website. They can contact us via telephone, and we'd be happy to take them through the qualifying process to see if they are one of the lucky ones.
I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but is there any particular reason why you chose Highland Park?
Well, there was not a particular reason why I chose Highland Park. This is the NSP program that is going on and that's current right now. And I choose whatever I can do to help revitalize the community. You know.
I want to make sure that you contact Premier Realty, 248-876-3036, or go to Highland Park NSP and find out about these fabulous homes that are available in Highland Park. Highland Park's coming back, Detroit's coming back. Let's get there together. We'll be right back after this.
Down this path through Detroit, this is real talk, real talk, real talk, real.
We're back on with Ms. Steward, and she is working with the City of Highland Park and NSP funds that are going to help subsidize the development of these new homes. Are there special funds, as far as federal funding, available to the actual homeowners when they're going through the lending process?
Absolutely. Well, the government, they will subsidize 20% of the actual mortgage to make it more affordable for the buyer.
That's a second mortgage.
Yep, absolutely.
So the federal government is stepping in with the second mortgage.
Yes.
Which is pretty much a down payment assistance.
Yes. And also, the buyer is very flexible. So the buyer cannot bring more than $1,500 to get into the properties, which is actually a plus. It's very affordable to get into these properties.
Back up a second.
Oh, wow.
You're saying that you don't want people to put more than $1,500 down in his houses?
That's part of the program. That's part of the criteria.
So this sounds like a wonderful program for someone that doesn't have a whole lot of cash, but certainly can afford to pay a note. But
absolutely, absolutely, Reverend. All we ask that you have a good, stable job, some workable credit, some assets, and we would do what we can to help you get into these properties.
And what would the notes be like?
The notes are going to be anywhere from $600 to $700. They would probably not exceed $700.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
$700.
Can you buy another house if you own one already? Or in other words, do you have to move into the house?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you do. You have to be an occupant of the home.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you have to be a first-time home buyer?
No, not necessarily. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer.
Okay.
They just want the buyers, like I said, who have the workable assets, some credit, and is looking for a new, just a step-up home.
Sure.
These
a
are
new
definitely
life of
step-up homes.
They
It's-
are
it's-
wonderful homes. They are wonderful homes. They are brand new, energy-efficient appliances.
Appliances actually come with the homes as
Yes,
well.
yes.
Oh,
And
that's
some
a
of the features
tremendous
you'll be able to
package.
pick yourself if you come at the right time, but we do, want to go ahead and complete these
Let's
homes.
give out the phone number,
Yes.
and let's give out the website, because people are listening right now and they're already headed to Highland Park.
Yes, they are. Well, if they would like to get in touch with us via phone, they can call us at 248-876-3036.
One more time.
248-876-3036.
And of course, the website. Now, when you go to the website, can they get can they have a virtual tour kind of thing? Or?
Well, no, not as of yet, but we
Okay.
will have some wonderful photos.
Are there designs there?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll have some designs there. They can choose the model that they may want, or that they think they may want at that time. But we will be having the first model coming up, like I said, within the next month or two. So we'll be
Oh, wow.
excited about that. Yes.
Okay, so
And the
what is the
website
website?
is?
The website where they can leave all of their information, they can log on, leave their information, is www.highlandparknsp.com.
Well, let our listeners know we'll be having a live broadcast soon in Highland Park. We're working it out right now, and of course, we'll have her there so you get more information. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit of politics and other things with Ed Foxworth in a little bit.
Down this path through Detroit. This is real talk. Real issue.
Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm Reverend Sheffield, of course, my co-host DiAnna Solomon. We're giving you good information. I want to have this last segment. Just take a moment, first of all, before we bring on Ed Foxworth, get some of his opinions about some of the things that are going on, and is to tell you about what Dable's doing. We've got a wonderful weekend coming up. Our Save the Race address and dinner, which will begin with a weekend on Friday, February 17th, with an event with young people and young adults and a social. Saturday, February the 18th, we're going to have a forum. Our keynote speaker is Randall Robinson, who founded Trans Africa, that was one of the principal antagonists against apartheid. And of course, on Sunday, February 19th, will be our dinner, Save the Race dinner at Northwest Activity Center. Both those events, Saturday and Sunday, the 18th and 19th, will be at the Northwest Activity Center. Our theme is economic apartheid, an American and world dilemma. There are people who are deliberately excluded from the mainstream of economic life. We now see middle-class folks who've enjoyed a plethora of prosperity, who now want to occupy Wall Street because they've been, kicked out of their homes or whatever. So, Ms. Solomon, just add a little bit to that. We want people to know it's going to be a great weekend.
Reverend Sheffield, it's going to be a spectacular weekend. Normally, in the past, DABO, Detroit Association of Black Organizations, has focused on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to branch out and expand this weekend of activities through Friday. We're going to do a social after-work affair on Friday at the Detroit Seafood Market, and they're one of our sponsors and one of our gracious co-chairs. And this forum that we're going to hold on Saturday with Randall Robinson is going to be like no other. We're going to make certain that we not only have a very balanced panel discussion with intellectuals, both male and female, that have a grasp of what is happening here in the United States and outside of the U.S. as far as the rest of the world, who've had just international flavor added to our group of panelists.
Sure.
So,
well, for more information, dial 313-491-0003, 313-491-0003. A commercial for the forum will be running during our show, and of course, here at WADL, we want to thank, by the way, Denise Johnson, who does a wonderful job in helping us promote these spectacular events. We're going to try to tape that and film that so that we can capture what a great person Randall Robinson coming, who I work for, Congressman Diggs, for his 4th time speaking for the DABO dinner. and coming from St. Kitts to do so.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And actually, last but not least, we want to make certain that we refer people to the DABO website, and that's dabodetroit.org.
Yeah.
So you can visit the
and
website.
A lot of information is there.
For any and all information involving the State of the Race Forum.
Well, Ed, you out there in the crucible of all of the activity that's going on in the city of Detroit, and we wanted to have an opportunity to have you on our show. We certainly appreciate your opinions, and we know you know what's happening. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being here, Reverend Sheffield. This is a fantastic forum. I look at it every Sunday just to kind of catch up on what's going on. I actually liked when you were doing more in the barbershop. That to me was a favorite, but you know.
We'll invite you to, we're going to do that. Dodie's going to set that up soon, and you can come be a part of that. I really want to go to a beauty salon next, so I can have some candid conversation with the cats, the kitty cats.
You know what?
I'm gonna have to pause things right now. I'm gonna have to pause things right now. So remember when I was talking about the state of the race and how we would have balanced discussion with both men and women.
Right.
So I'm not certain about that. And we women, we enjoy that sanctity of the salon.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna cross dress to do it.
Right. Yeah.
I believe that. Well, maybe what you do that segment. I don't have to be there.
Okay.
But I think it's great to hear women talk about what they talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get to the chase, man. This whole financial situation, the bleak picture that's been painted for the city. I mean, what's your assessment of things?
My assessment is that people are going to be, I mean, you've really got to look at the statistics. You got 33% poverty, you got 47% functionally illiterate rate, you've got a 30 to 40% unemployment rate. You have a large percentage of people who have given up, who just decided that, you know what, this isn't a place I'm going to be. The energy in the city of Detroit has gone down. I mean, people are just not feeling like this is the place that I want to be. And it's interesting in my church to see people come up and the pastor, Reverend Nicholas Hood, say to individuals, well, I just wanted to say we're going to introduce you to some more people who are leaving the city. Right. And he has said that over and over again. And we say, hey, nationally, we've seen 1,000 people leave out of the city limits.
There's been a lot of folks, and I was in Detroit when there was over 2 million people as a child. I want to tell people, my son has a great song out. We're loving not leaving Detroit. We're not going to leave the city that made us, even though they talk about us is outrageous.
Yeah.
So all those folks are sending out press releases and saying bye-bye, hold on, Detroit's not dead yet.
Right, and the only thing I was going to suggest is that the will to stay comes from within.
Yeah.
It's got to be those people who say that, you know what, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to make a go at it and push forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing that, Ed? I mean, are you promoting that message?
Yeah, well, I think
through your media firm?
There is a whole push to be able to talk about self-discovery. You know, I've written a couple of books on self-discovery and really talk about finding yourself. I heard Reverend Sheffield say earlier in talking about not having a pity party, not crying, not sitting there and looking out the window and saying, woe is me, but deciding that I've got to understand who I am, what I'm capable of, what my knowledge, skills, and ability are, and then try to move that forward. I don't know that a whole lot of people understand who they are and what they were put on this earth to complete. Right. And so as they find themselves, they are better to find themselves, what they're good at, and then go out and be able to do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I want your take on this. And Ms. Solomon, I've had this conversation. She actually did some research on billboards.
Yeah.
There was this campaign, I Believe in Detroit. When I did We're Loving Not Leaving Detroit, I got a great pushback from people, corporate people. I got only a few people to sponsor that. We had T-shirts. And they just said, well, you know what? So what about Detroit? Then they come along with I Believe in Detroit. Well, I want to do a campaign of billboards to say, well, take that believe and cross out a few letters. And it says, I live in Detroit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference between what you're saying, people were takers and makers.
Absolutely. And then what we've got to see is that resurgence. We talk about young people all the time. What are we teaching our young people in terms of their ability to be able to make a difference? Mm-hmm. This is an election year. And, we've got some serious work to do on the ground in terms of making sure that we get out and vote. Yeah. And I just don't see that happening on a continuous basis.
That's a good segment for us to go into, because I've had this debate with many people. Ms. Solomon is very active in politics. Mm-hmm. And in fact, let me have you be a guest for a moment, because the numbers were not that staggering, not that great when President Obama ran. I mean, we didn't have 50% of the people who voted when he ran. What are we going to do to get people out? What does it take really to get people to see that there's a connection between, what they're going through and who they voted for or didn't vote for?
I believe that not only the politicians, but certainly the leadership here in the city of Detroit, and those that just have an ear, should be able to share with one individual at a time, making a connection between a message that people actually value. So what is it, making that connection, what is it that people value? The people that I come in contact with, even today, just raking up and preparing my lawn for the winter season, one of my neighbors, he said, you know what, I value my family and keeping my kids safe in this neighborhood. So and if you take that message and what people value, how can we in turn show that and make a difference with that individual?
Sure.
So what are politicians
and how do we
leaders
connect
doing
what
to
that
make
person
that
wants
connection?
to see happen for the safety of his children and electing someone to public office?
Yeah, I think that
They need to vote.
It has to resonate through churches, schools, businesses. I mean, what better way to look at the nonprofit organizations that are out there and then say, look, we need you to pick up this mantra and run with it. We need you to share it on your website, the same as you share everything else. In your messages, hey, get your message out, but then say, you know what, and I'm voting. You know, take it to the school. Great class today, and make sure you vote.
Sure.
You know, in the churches, wonderful, I'm glad that you all came out, and make sure that you vote.
And while we're on the subject, I want to give a shout out to Vice President of the UAW, Jimmy Settles, his assistant, Kevin Talbot, who are doing this. Went and met with him. I'm fascinated. They're having teas in people's homes and gathering 40, 50 people that they know and having them people commit to getting 30, 40 more people and being a part of this whole electoral process to change or to continue the change that we need to take place in America. So that's what it takes. It takes us each reaching our own people. Now let's talk about you. You're in public relations. You were involved with the bridge company, for example.
Yeah.
Help me understand, what are we not doing from a public relations standpoint to improve the image of the city of Detroit? You know, bankruptcy, emergency financial managers, crime, closing the precincts. I mean, how do we turn this around so that people see the city differently?
Well, I think, you hit on some of the main points. The idea has to be that we want more. We're tired of seeing what we're seeing. We're tired of experiencing what we're experiencing in our homes, in our communities, in our schools, and in our workplace. There has to be this commitment that we're going to be good at something. You know, we used to call ourselves best at automotive. Well, now what are we good at? Now what do we do best? And how do we circle the wagons around that particular idea? You know, someone talked about it being ion batteries at one point. Well, okay, if we're going to do that, then let's do it. Nursing is in need, so why don't we get into nursing and let everyone then focus towards nursing?
Well, I know some stuff we're good at, but we need to stop them. We're good at tearing folk down.
Oh, absolutely.
We're good at lying on folk. You know, I think what we got to do, and I don't mean to steal the wind from your thunder, we've got to start saying positive things about each other. We've got to start encouraging people. We got to stop, just running folk down.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's tough out here, but if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. I mean, there's some good in everybody.
Sure.
And I tell you this as I close, I don't know how much time I got. I tell people in my church all the time, you ought to be as liberal with others as God has been forgiving of you.
Wow.
Because God ain't pleased when he see you sometime, when he thinks about what you've done based on what he's given you. I think I'm done. I'm going to be back next week. God bless you, and let's make Detroit the best city in the world. We can do it.
Real issues straight from the heart. I'm giving you real talk. Real talk. Take a walk down this path through Detroit. This is real talk. This is real talk. Real issues straight from the heart. I'm giving you real talk. Come take a walk down this path through Detroit. This is real talk. This is real talk. Uncut for the people of Detroit who got an opinion that they want to voice. I'ma give them real talk. Real issues, real topics, real people addressing real matters. No gossip. Real talk for the people that can. Since day one we been here. We ain't leaving. Detroit still breathe. Real talk. I love the city, so I speak from the heart. From my experience, I give them real talk. This is real talk here. So I gotta talk real, conversative.